So when you first log into CrewCost, you're going to land on a company dashboard similar to what you see here. This is going to give you an overview of your most critical financial metrics, things like revenue, cost of goods sold, gross profit, overhead, net profit. And then we're going to trend this out over time so you can see month by month performance. You can see how you're performing on each of your individual jobs by gross profit margin. You can break that out by cash or by the percentage basis. You can also go over here and toggle from a profit view to a cash flow view. So in this example, we're able to see things like average AR days, AP days, how much AP is outstanding, unbilled retainage, which is something that's really critical for a construction company to kind of watch and manage. And then, of course, you can see this trended out over time, money coming in and out of the company, which projects are contributing to that. And then you can also see things like your bank balance over time. And of course, we're going to pull this bank information in directly from your bank feed. You're not having to enter this stuff in manually. Let's jump back over to profit and loss, and we're going to drill down into one of our projects. So here we have a Tesla dealership that we're working on in South Austin. And when you drill into this project, you're going to get an overview of the project. So the contract value, estimated cost, profit, costs incurred to date, the revenue earned based on earned value, the amount invoiced, whether you're over or under billed on the project, and then the forecast to complete. And then we're showing you cash coming in and out of the job and some cool budget some bar charts that show your budget based on subcontract, other equipment, labor, so on and so forth. Now, one of the things that's really unique about CrewCost is that we really are an all-in-one platform. So within this job, we were able to create it using an estimate, right? So we have an estimate here. If we were to open this estimate up, you could look at what was actually sent out to the customer. You can see line by line the different cost codes, the dollar values. And what's really nice about this is we take that estimate, once it's accepted, we can actually create a job with it. So I can go down here and say, create a job. And from there, it's going to create the, the project contract. It's going to create the budget. And I can also go in and create commitments and change orders once I have all of that in place. Now, for any construction project, the budget is going to be the heart and soul of the project for the construction team. Now, we're going to give you a very comprehensive budget that's broken out by cost codes and cost types. Now, you can go 3 layers deep, and then going from left to right, you can see what the budget amount is. You can see things like approved change orders. You can see any pending change orders. You can see your commitments, non-committed costs, job to date costs, pending cost changes, forecast to complete, which can be manually overwritten. And then that's going to update your estimated cost of completion and your projected over. So what's really nice about having this integrated with your accounting software is you can drill down to the specific details. So if I wanted to see what made up the $50,000 in the thermal and moisture protection, I could click on this and it'll take me right down to the specific transactions that make up that $50,000. And I can click on each one of those individual transactions and I can see things like the actual invoice that was sent to us from the vendor. I can see the vendor. I can see the whether or not it was paid or not, which in this case, this has already been paid. I can see the cost type, the cost code that it was coded against. I can also see that there's an attached lien waiver that was used in the approval process. And then what's really, really cool about this is down here, you can see the back and forth conversation between the project manager and my office administrator confirming that like materials were dropped on site and installed. We're not having to go outside of the product to do that and email and send documents back and forth. From within this expense, I've got the actual invoice. I've got communication with my team. I can see the approval workflows down here. You can see that James, the project manager, was the first person that had to approve it. He has since approved it. Then Amber approved it. Once Amber approved it, then it hit the job, it hit the GL, and we can see other things like the fact that we have a lien waiver. And if we need to go grab that lien waiver to provide it as evidence to the owner, that's just a couple of clicks away. So as you can see, we went from a very high level budget down to a detailed transaction report, down to a very specific expense with all the details with just a couple of clicks. Now, all of that rolls up to the budget. And this budget is what's going to be used to kind of keep your job in order and to make sure you're not having things like profit fade and that we're not overrunning on budgets. Now, some of the other things that are going to be really critical is that within the product, you can manage your commitments. So if you need to go set up subcontracts, if you got to buy your contracts out, you can do all that within CrewCost. You can even do it from an estimate. You can click on the line items within the estimate, say create a subcontract, create a purchase order, and that'll actually load all of your line items into your subcontract. But for this example here, I just want to show you what some of these look like. So if I were to click on this Austin Demolition, you can see here that the vendor is Austin Demolition. This is the job, the terms. You can see that it's partially billed. I can see a link to the actual subcontract bills and the payments. And here I can see the actual schedule of values, right? So I can see that there's demolition and removal of an existing structure. I can see what that dollar value is. And then now what's really important is from here, I can go in and do things like create a subcontract bill. If the scope changes on the job, I can create a change order right here without leaving the product. And of course, if you create that change order, it's then going to update the commitment, it's going to update the budget, and everyone's going to be all on the same page without having to go into any other products. The last thing I want to show you before we leave out of the job center is that within the job center, the most important thing you can do is to be able to bill against the job. So if you look here, we have a contract that's built based on the schedule of values. This has all the cost codes, the cost types, the dollar amounts, and the totals down here at the bottom. I can see things like what the retainage is, and I can actually go in and create a contract invoice. And when I create that contract invoice, I can do it in an AI format. So here I'm able to go in and enter work completed this period. I can put materials presently stored, or I can just use a percent completed to date. And it's going to keep track of that. So as I create the application for payment, the first one, the second one, the third one, it's going to keep up with what was billed previously versus what was billed now. It's going to keep track of the retainage on a line by line item basis. And the best part is it's going to actually go update your balance sheet. It's going to update your accounts receivables for the retention and for what is actually billable at that point in time. So it's going to keep your books in order without you having to do anything manually. And the best part is you're going to have a nice customer facing document that's in the format that they're expecting. So if I go here to accounts receivables, I could look at one of these existing AI payments that I've created. This is not something I pulled out of another system. We created this natively within the product without any sort of customization. This is just out of the box functionality to be able to create an application and certificate for payment that you can send off to your owner and to the architect for approval. All right, so from here, the next thing I want to show you really quickly is how do you get bills into the system? Now, earlier I showed you what a bill looks like and how you can collaborate on the bill and how you can upload lien waivers and all that kind of fun stuff. But one of the other real big benefits of CrewCost is that you can see a breakout of all your bills. Bills are going to be anything that you still owe money on. Expenses, those are going to be things that have already happened and you've already paid it, but maybe it has to be approved. Think of like a credit card transaction. You can see commitments across all of your jobs. You can see your vendors, so you can manage your vendors. You can add new vendors. You can upload COI documents, any sort of compliance documentation at the vendor level. You can apply it there, and you can also put settings in place that it's required, right? So that's going to be really important in the construction industry. Let's click on bills real quick. So when you go into bills, you're going to land in an inbox. This inbox is basically the first place of where a bill or an expense would start. You're going to add new bills here, and what's really cool is when you can actually upload bills as PDF or image documents. We will actually OCR those documents, attach the bill as an attachment, and actually read important attributes like the amount, the transaction date, the vendor, and pre-create that for you. So that way your team's not going in and having to manually type all these bills in one by one. Now, once a bill's been entered, it then enters into the approval process, assuming that you have approval set. So in this example here, we have a bill. You can see that this is currently in James, the project manager's court. He's the next approver. The bill is due in a month. This is the job. So if I were to go in and override this bill, I can override it. It would immediately hit the general ledger, it hit the job budget, and then it would move over to this waiting to be paid tab. So now under waiting to be paid, these are bills that have been approved. Now someone can go in and actually create a payment and go through the payment process of like, hey, are we going to create a check? Did we pay this via ACH? So on and so forth. That's going to now hit your balance sheet as money that's out the door. All right, so let's jump out of accounts payables real quick. The next thing I want to quickly talk about is our reporting capabilities. So CrewCost has all the reporting capabilities that you would expect in an accounting application. So you can go and look at things like balance sheets. You can look at your income statement, just standard income statements. You can look at a general ledger report. You can do this based on any time frame that you want this year. You can look at last year. You can put in custom dates. You can also do income comparison reports. So if you wanted to see an income statement that shows month over month changes, whether your revenue is going up or going down or expenses are going up or going down, you can create that report, send it out to people. You can quickly see it. And then we also have construction specific reports like labor reports that are going to show you time allocated to jobs, time that's allocated to different types of tasks. And then probably the most important construction report, in my opinion, is the work in progress report. This is going to give you a 50,000 foot view of all of your projects that are current, that are active. So here I can see a total of all the current contract values combined. I can see the estimated cost, my estimated profit. I can see the cost incurred to date. Again, anything that's blue, I can click and drill down on. To the right of that, I can see the percent complete of individual jobs, and I can also see percent complete aggregate. I can see revenue earned based on earned value. I can see how much has been invoiced, and what's really cool is I can see the delta between what's been invoiced and what's been earned, so I know what my over and under billings are. And then lastly, I can see my backlog and my forecast to complete. Now, this is going to be really important because this is what you use to determine how much work you have in your backlog. Do I need to get aggressive with estimating? Do I need to go out and source new rounds of capital to be able to fund these projects, for bonding purposes and things like that? And what's really nice about this is this WIP report is updating in real time as expenses are hitting jobs and as new contracts are being accepted and entering into the system. This is automatically updating. So there's not any manual updates that you have to do the percent complete, the earned revenue. That all happens automatically without doing anything else. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about today, we have the ability to integrate with tools like Procore. So if you're using Procore, you're able to go in and connect CrewCost to those products natively without needing a third-party connector or any other tools to make that work. Now, this is really great because that's one less expense you have, but there's not a third-party product in the middle that doesn't quite speak both languages. We work with Procore quite a bit. We've got it set up to be able to integrate purchase orders, commitments, projects, expenses. So when folks are doing things in the field, it's flowing over to your accounting. It obviously has to go through an approval process. And when people are doing things in the back office, it's flowing out to the construction management software that your field team's working in, keeping everybody in sync and singing from the same sheet of music. Now that is going to conclude our demonstration today. I hope that we've shown you enough to at least pique your interest. But if you would like to see more, please visit crewcost.com. Click the sign up for a demo button, enter your information, and we will be sure to get in contact with you with a personalized product demonstration. Thanks, everyone. I hope everyone has a great day. See you soon.